Despite that it's a great album, I actually have a lot of problems with 1992's Kiss Revenge album. One of its problems is that it has a lot of highs and a lot of lows. For every amazing song off the album, there's a piece of crap around the corner. It just gives off too much of a mixed feeling. For example, I'm not a big fan of Take It Off, Spit, I Just Wanna, and Every Time I Look at You. But I am a very big fan of songs like Thou Shalt Not, Unholy, Paralyzed, Heart of Chrome, and Domino. But the truth of the biggest reason why Revenge wasn't a big success was because they were once again trying to please the music critics instead of the fans. Like the title of the album sounds cool, but its message is absurd. Kiss Revenge. Revenge on who? The music critics that didn't take you seriously when you wore your makeup? Didn't they already do that bullcrap in the mid-'80s when they betrayed most Kiss fans by removing their makeup? For a long time, Kiss fans wanted them to return to their iconic, legendary makeup. But instead, they're still wanting to get revenge on the music critics. It would make more sense if they called the album Lick It Up Revenge in 1983 instead of 1992. Paul and Gene just hated the idea of putting the makeup back on because that would give Peter and Ace leverage and more importance in the legacy of the band. Because when most people think of Kiss in their makeup, they think of the original four, and I think that's awesome. But there were two other guys that were super talented and awesome musicians that wore cool, badass makeup too. Vinnie Vincent and Eric Carr. The problem is that they never gave Kiss fans a long enough time to grow up with that version of Kiss with the Fox character and the wizard Egyptian character. They only did that stuff for like 2 years, but they had them as the four originals for 7 years in the 70s. So kids and young adults got to spend a very long time with those Kiss characters. If they just kept the damn makeup on and kept Vinnie and Eric in that makeup for 5 years or so, and then maybe removed the makeup, then I guarantee there would have been Kiss fans that would also want Vinnie and Eric to return to the band with their now iconic makeup. But anyway, so fans were extremely fed up with the fact that Kiss still have not returned to makeup yet. So them wanting revenge was not what the fans wanted. Kiss should have been wanting revenge on the critics who doubted that they had an amazing, loyal fan base by putting the makeup back on. In fact, my idea would have been to have them return to makeup in 1992 and give Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick new makeup designs. And most of the fans would have gotten behind it because they would be back in makeup, and it would have been very cool, interesting, and exciting to see Bruce Kulick have his own unique makeup and costume, and the same for the newcomer Eric Singer. Everyone would have still been upset of Eric's passing, but Eric Carr could have worn his classic Fox makeup in his final video for Revenge, and that would have made his final appearance even way more special. And that leads me to the third problem with the record. Eric Carr passing away at the tragic age of 41. All of the Kiss Army had Eric on the mind, and that's where everyone's focus was, as it should be. So them releasing an album only 1 year after his death is not a very good idea. It was way too soon. Even though the album was pretty much finished, they should have released it in late 1993, and it should have included at least 3 unreleased Eric Carr tracks. It would have helped the album, instead of Paul and Gene moving on so quickly from Eric's passing. Besides, they didn't need any revenge. They already proved that they can play great music without their makeup. So what the hell are they so angry about? Just stupid. Eric actually recorded a lot of songs over the years that went unreleased. Revenge should have included the songs Eyes of Love, Can You Feel It, and Tierra. Adding those tracks, and it coming out in late 93, 94, and them putting their makeup back on, would have made the album a very big hit. True, that this would probably have made the reunion with Peter and Ace a little less special, because Paul and Gene would have already put their makeup back on. But they still could have done the reunion in 96 or 97, because it still would have been really exciting to see the return of the Catman and the Spaceman. And they should have just done the reunion for only 1 year with Peter and Ace, and then return to Eric and Bruce again, with their makeup on, and then make new albums from there. Maybe down the line, they could have made records that had all 6 of them on the record. Ace and Peter could have still returned from time to time. It's not like they had to completely leave after the reunion was over. This would have kept them fresh, because the reunion made Kiss stale, and they became mostly a cover band. They overperformed their 70s songs way too much, and most Kiss fans actually wanted them to continue to make new songs, new albums, with some new ideas. After the reunion, imagine how great the albums afterwards could have been. New albums, with 2 Ace songs, 2 Peter songs, Eric and Bruce singing their own songs, and Gene and Paul doing their thing. And then all 6 of them could have worn makeup on the album covers and promotional material. This would have been the Kiss supergroup era of the late 90s and all of the 2000s. Peter and Ace could have returned on special occasions on stage with them, and Ace and Bruce could have had friendly guitar battles on stage. That would have been amazing. I know that many of you would rather not have more than 4 band members, but it would have been really exciting though, and it would have been the spark that could have helped Kiss to be fresh with the fans, with the general public. There could have been new merch with all 6 Kiss members. Just imagine video games featuring all 6 members in makeup, including Eric Carr, of course. And then Kiss could have ended in 2010 or something, because that's when Paul was starting to lose his voice anyway. Make a final album with all 7 members, and give the final album 2 rare Eric Carr unreleased tracks. Or how about a tribute song to Eric, you know? Anyway, I think the image they had for Revenge didn't work either, for the most part, because that grunge look is not what people think of when they think of Kiss. When people think of them, they were colorful characters with crazy makeup, and they were corny in a very cool and fascinating way, like Spider-Man or Batman, for example, or Spawn. And that was more unique than the grunge image and movement anyway, because Kiss was so cool that they did not have to follow a trend. They created their own unique sense of cool, and here they were in 1992, still trying to be relevant, when those fans just didn't care about them anymore. The casuals. Because the people that always cared about Kiss were the true, die-hard Kiss fans. The Kiss Army. Anyway, these are my thoughts on Revenge. Let me know if you guys agree with me or not. Please like and subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. Have a great day, Kiss Army, and I'll see you all again next time.